Okay. It's Thursday, and we're here to quench that thirst on Thirsty Thursday. Welcome, all of you to Bowling with Bryan. We have a special guest this week, and as you know, we like to show off our balls, but Bowling with Bryan is about showing off balls, other snakes, and reptiles as well. And we have the perfect person for that that's going to take us through their little jungle. I want to shout you guys out. Wow, signing on at 7:36, 7:43. That's actually quite impressive. So I really do appreciate you guys coming and continuing to support. But with that said, let me introduce, or I'll allow him to introduce himself from the green room. Welcome, brother.
What's going on, man?
Everything is good. Why don't you let them know? I'm sure they've seen the smile. I'm sure they've seen the dreads. Let them know, though, who you are, where you're from.
Yeah. So my name is Dre. I'm on Instagram and YouTube. I'm DW Exotics. Got all types of crazy animals, so you can. Sorry, you can follow me on Instagram,
Did one of them,
YouTube. I
did one of
got
them
all
get
types
out?
of stuff. No, yeah, had to shut the door real quick, but yeah, I got all types of crazy animals. I do YouTube, Instagram. I'm everywhere, so that's me.
So, guys, this is DW Exotics. I will put his name in a banner below so you can see where to follow him on Instagram. It's DW, the letter X, Oticz. DW Exotics. If you're not following him, go give him a follow. Join that 5,000 plus following. And also, he is very active on YouTube. But today, you're on my show.
For
Today,
sure.
you bowling with Bryan. All right. I see you from Ohio, right?
Yes, sir. Born and raised.
Okay, you got some more Ohio family here. I see
Hmm.
John from Mad River Serpents and Ratteries in the house.
Okay,
So
yeah, I'm in
happy.
Columbus.
Had a little tragic event. Sent him a baby, and it was DOA. You know, FedEx.
Oh man.
FedEx at their best. But we tried again yesterday, and everything went well. I see my brother who also suffered the same thing on the same day. Morphed Ambitions in North Carolina. What it do, brother? We need to schedule your next shipment. Like I said, guys, I'm not here to bash FedEx. They do a lot. They get it right a lot more than they don't. But when they don't, it is tragic. Okay. And I don't wish that on anyone, but the show must go on. We must continue to do what we do. And we just have to jump over those hurdles. But that's not what we're here for, brother. We're here to see what you got going on over there, man.
Yeah, what you want to see? I got a little bit of everything.
Um, you know what? You got a ball python close by?
I can grab them out real quick. The only one I have.
Why don't we start it? This balling with
Yeah,
Bryan,
let,
man. You know,
let,
I got
let me grab
infinity.
them and we'll talk a little bit about them. Let me grab them real quick.
What's good, my brother? How you doing? Listen, I'm coming down this weekend. I hope that we're gonna link up. Let me know if you can make that happen. I don't know if Underworld reached out to you that we were supposed to try to get together.
Well,
So, all right. So,
my
guys,
guy
for the
right here.
record, this is it. This is the one and only. I don't know how it's possible. I asked him. He's gonna have to explain to us how he avoided the addiction called
Yeah,
ball python collecting because he literally has only one ball python.
literally one. This is my guy in Baku here. So basically, with me, I was exposed to reptiles at an early age, and ball pythons was that snake. So at that, I was like what, 13. So I just feel like at that age, once you're exposed to them early, at least for me, it was a great starting point. But then, kind of just my as you get older and you dwell in the hobby more and more, your skill level and your educational level goes up. So I really just kind of wanted to get into more different species of snakes, big snakes, whatever it may be. So I didn't. It was more so I didn't want to become a breeder. Not that I have a problem with breeding. I probably will breed some of the snakes I have here. I just didn't want to be a breeder for ball pythons, but I support all of my friends that do it. Um, and I mean, that's just what it is. It's just one of those things where everybody has kind of like their niche, whatever, how you want to pronounce it. But for me, I got one in Baku here. He's a Mystic B. So yeah, he's got some spider in him, but he's a great snake, and I mean that's just what it is.
Oh, he got spider. Oh my gosh, we're gonna start the
Yes,
controversy.
yeah,
Did you hear that, Sandra? He
yeah.
has spider. Sandra and I actually consider spiders top three of our favorite genes, and we are serious advocates for the spider gene. She does not believe you that you will stay with only one ball python.
She's
I'm
not the
gonna
first, but once
I'm gonna
once
have
she
to agree
sees
with
what
her.
I have, once she sees what other reptiles, I'll give her a hint. I got one of these.
Okay, so we're only gonna focus on the snakes today,
Yeah.
guys. But he does have a nice variety of reptiles. You can see more on his YouTube page. And like I said, make sure you're following him right there on Instagram below at DW Exotics. So Mad River John said that you guys have to meet up for lunch or a cup of coffee. You know what would be great if you guys met up on a Wednesday morning at 7 a.m. Eastern time and join me for what's in your cup and we all had a cup of coffee together. How about that one? How
Man,
about that one? I
it's
know that's
7
a.
a.m. But you know what? I'm not a morning person, but for the hobby, for the culture, I would definitely do it.
You see, that's what I'm talking about. But
Hey,
those are the ones that
let
we
me
got to talk
know.
about the controversies. So let me ask you quickly: the ball python, and I'm glad to hear that you started at a young age. I was
Hmm.
kind of born into it, and I jumped into it. I would say more in the teens. Although it was around me, my decision and my purchasing and everything started in the teens, which was 100 years ago, as some of these people will say.
The
But my son got into it at an early age, at 6 years old,
CEO.
and
Yeah.
at 9 years old, he's a veteran, man. You know, at 9 years old, he went from keeper to breeder. He's
Hmm.
in the triple digits, and it's great to see. And I can't wait to witness what
Yeah.
becomes of it. But what was your first? Was the ball python one of your first?
My first snakes,
Yeah.
believe it or not, actually, my first snake was a blood python here behind me, Kato. So,
What? That is not
yeah.
a first. That species is not a first type of snake type of species.
So that's where the name came from. Because so when I initially got into reptiles, I was strictly lizards, only lizards. I lived at home, and my mom was like, "If it doesn't have legs, can't be here." So I actually got into the actual reptile game, breeding bearded dragons and keeping big monitors and everything like that. So that was at like 16, but I got out of it at like 20. I had so much experience with snakes, so Kato was the first snake that I bought about 4 years ago now, and I've had my first snake bite actually came from a blood python, and oddly enough, it made me like them a little more. I like snakes that give me a little challenge, a little testy because it gives you more to work with, and that's kind of another reason why like I don't show him off as much because most of the time he's just doing his thing and he's just like kind of chilling. My niece gives him a lot of love. She comes over, she takes him out. This is her buddy, but I got the big boas and the white lip python and everything that like to strike and give me a run for my money. So that's usually
For
what my focus
for a
is.
ball python though, that's a nice size ball python, especially for a
Yeah,
male.
it's 3-year-old male. Yep.
Especially for a male, he looks like he got
Hmm.
some good weight on him, and that's definitely something I want to hear a little bit more about when you start showing your different species.
Hmm.
Is I mean, it has to get tricky with keeping proper temps for the different species and your
Definitely,
feeding schedules and
definitely.
the variety of sizes. So that's one of the things that impresses me the most. I strictly have, when it comes to snakes, ball pythons
Hmm.
and boas, and even that, it keeps you on your toes. I couldn't imagine having the array of snakes that you have and staying on point. You do have a job outside of your
Yeah,
reptile world, right?
yep. Full time and a
So,
daughter, a toddler at that.
yes, I've seen her. She's
So
adorable.
I
I think
appreciate it.
she was still in Pampers. What is she?
Yeah,
She has to be like a year old, right? Maybe two.
she'll be 2 in January. Yep.
Yes, I remember when you started bringing her out, and I was like, "That's how you do it, man.
Yep,
That
yep.
that's how you do it."
She has yet to
Right.
touch one, but she's
So
definitely
you have a
looking. She's
TikTok
interested.
too, huh?
Yeah, just have a little fun with it. I feel like so. I have Instagram, YouTube. You know, I do something different on all of my social media. My Instagram is where I do majority of my promoting. YouTube is where I do my educational videos and just kind of really dig into reptile keeping. And TikTok is kind of just where I have fun with it, be a little goofy. Just man, that's what TikTok's for. Have a little fun, be a little goofy. You get mad views, and then I also use that for promoting my other social medias as well. So I just got on
I saw your
TikTok like a
TikTok the
month
other day
ago.
when you was doing your thing, and I was like, he just
Yeah,
jumped in
you
there.
gotta, yeah.
All right,
Gotta
so
have
your
fun
daughter
with it.
hasn't touched the snake yet. What are you waiting for, man?
Not quite yet. I like to. I mean, I'm more of a. I'm a firm believer in slow and steady. She's at that point where she's quick to grab something. And I know you got to watch him and everything like that. I just don't want anything to happen. So I just kind of, at the same time, just trying to like when she understands a little better to teach her like this is how you touch it, this is how you pet it. Don't just grab it because I don't want the snake to strike at her as well either. But she definitely gets to see them. I'll pull them out and show her them at a distance so she knows that they're there. I've posted pictures of her sitting in front of the cages with the big snake and they just staring off. Um, but yeah, for sure, I'm definitely gonna get into it. I'm slow and steady. I just like to keep it going.
I'm not mad at you. I'm not mad at you. All right, so what you got up next for us, man? We could do
I
ball
got you.
pythons. We could do
We,
that's
we,
what we're here for. But since we got you
for
here, let's see
sure,
some other stuff.
I got you. So I'll pull out one of my testier snakes. He likes to try to give me a run for my money, and he will be. I'll give you guys a hint. He will be my biggest snake. Uh, my big snake right now is about 6 foot. This guy would be over probably around 10 to 12. So he's nowhere near that yet, but he's bigger than the ball python. So that's my berm. This is Zeus. He's a granite het albino, possible het green, possible het labyrinth. So he's a little bit of a powerhouse, but he's a big boy. And I don't plan on breeding him just because they get way too big. I won't have the room for all of that. But this is him. Definitely high on the dream snake list. I didn't. A lot of people ask me why I prefer berms over retics, and just the sheer number one. A lot of people don't believe that you can have berms be pretty as retics, and me personally, I'm a little cocky when it comes to my snakes. I feel like I have the prettiest snakes in the world, as everyone should. But I just like the disposition of them. They get big, but not huge like some retics will get, and I guess that's saying a lot because retics get pretty big, and so do these guys. But he's
They
definitely one of
sure
my
do.
favorite snakes. Huh?
I said they sure do.
Yeah, he's definitely one of my favorite snakes. I mean, that's it. I mean, he's doing good. He's only about a year old, and he's already like double the size of my ball python. So that should give you an idea of how fast they grow. My ball python's about 3 years old.
Right. So this guy's a year old. He's at about 6 feet. Let me see. I had my first, I guess you could say, my first morph was an albino Burmese python, and that was back in about I would say 98, around 1998. And
Oh man, I was 7.
what are you trying to say, man? Trying to jump on these people's jokes here about me being
I
old.
mean,
But
at
it was
that
a
age, I only
nasty
dreamed
snake,
about it.
man.
So, oh, was he?
Yeah, it was nasty. What's up, Steve? How you doing, brother? It was definitely a nasty snake. Now Luke is saying that berms are calmer than I call them retics. I know my homegirl Rachel over at Red Bottom calls them retics.
Mm-hmm.
I call them retics. But is that the case? Would you say that for the most part they're calmer
So
than retics?
me personally, there's always that rule, which that's generally how I see it. But I always say there's that exception to every rule. I've seen aggressive ball pythons, and I've seen very placid blood pythons, and you'll see how chill Kato, my blood python, is when I pull them out. But that's generally the rule. But I just like to throw that disclaimer in there because it's not always true. I feel like it's circumstantial or by individual. If a snake didn't have the best of environments before he got to you, then of course he may be a little defensive. Um, but I mean, when I got him, he would hiss. He's very vocal, but he's literally the definition of all bark no bite. And as you can see, that's
That
why I put him around my neck. I
so
don't.
that was mine.
Mhm,
It would have issues when you would walk by its cage. It would strike.
mhm.
It would hiss. You would think it was trying to eat you. Then once you took it out, it was puppy dog tame. Like
Yeah, he actually struck at my face a couple of times, and you can see I'm so comfortable with him. But that's when I know he's in food mode. and that's kind of like what I like to promote on
I'm not.
my YouTube channel. Like you have
I'm
to be
not
able to read the
comfortable.
snakes.
I'm
Oh,
not comfortable.
but let me take the picture for you. I was thawing out rats, and I was actually changing water. So I opened his drawer, and the bucket of rats was like maybe like 3 foot away from his enclosure, so he could smell it. So of course I bent down to grab something. He struck, and I'm just like, oh shit! That probably wasn't smart. Let me move these rats over.
Yeah,
So again, it wasn't him being aggressive. That was just me not paying attention to what I was doing. And again, like if he was that bad, he wouldn't be on my neck. He wouldn't be this close to my face. But
he is
he ate.
beautiful.
Appreciate it. He eats every 2 weeks now. He ate just last week, so he's doing great. Doing
So
great.
he's eating every 2 weeks. What are you feeding? You mentioned the bucket, so we're talking frozen.
Yeah, every single reptile that I have, I had 12 snakes, all in frozen. Every single one.
I hope we get to see some red tail too, Hugh. So I got a red tail that does that all the time. He's a big old bluff. He
Mm-hmm.
chills out as soon as the hook touches him.
Yep.
But what do you need a hook for then?
Yeah.
What do you
Let me
need the
grab
hook
something
for
else for you
there,
guys.
Hugh? We don't need no hooks up in her. Actually, my red tails, it really, you have to read them. They can be real funny, and they like playing tag. Um,
So I'll actually
the
pull my red
Peru.
tail out now since we're talking about red tails. But I will
Go
say
ahead.
she's in shed though, so she's not gonna have that beautiful color. And
My
she's ready to fight.
Peruvian, yeah, my Peruvian's been getting nasty lately. Hold on, let me get you that solo screen, that solo layout.
Yep.
Oh,
So
you.
this is my Pokegon Suriname red tail. This is Nakia BCC. She's in a nasty shed right now, but she is one of my favorite snakes. I say all of my snakes are my favorite snakes, so y'all gonna hear that all night. But this is her. She's in a crazy shed right now. Um, Still small. She's I want to say she's about 10 months now. You can see she's growing really good. She was tiny when I got her. But this is her doing good. I'll pull out my BCI here soon because we still got some people that still really don't know the difference. I'm sure you guys probably all know, but I did a video on
So
that.
these people like to make fun of my arms, but I got the T-Rex thing going on, but they big, they hit hard, Mac. Don't get it twisted, all right? I tell people all the time, they little, but they hit hard. I might not reach you, but if I do, it's trouble. So I was gonna say that right now, Dre,
Mhm.
if you get a chance, if you could just break down BCC and BCI when you bring out the BCI, and then we could talk about what the differences are between them, because we use the term red tail loosely, just like in the ball python world, we use the term codom, but more often than not, when someone refers to their snake being a red tail, more often than not, it really isn't a red tail.
Correct.
Um,
They'll loosely or they'll incorrectly use the term Colombian red tail,
Colombian
and
red tail boa.
it's really just marketing. If you put red tail on it, mark up the price a little bit, or a lot of people really just truly think that they're the same snake and they're two separate species. Let me pull out my big BCI for you, Big Luther. I'm about to be out of breath, but I'll grab him for you, and then I'll
Bring out the
explain
big
more of the
boy.
differences.
So yes, guys, BCC and BCI. A BCC is a true red tail. BCI is the common snake that most of us have that we call a red or Colombian red tail. All right, you got
So,
the screen.
so before I pull him out, I didn't pull him out. Before I pull him out, though, just look at how high her peaks are. She's got very high peaks on her saddles, and let me pull out my big boy, and I'll show you what his look like.
So just for example, guys, a BCC that stands for boa constrictor, and the BCI stands for boa constrictor imperator,
They
which is more
actually,
the
they
common.
actually, you know how they like to change the scientific names a lot. They actually updated it, and now it's supposed to be just BI, Boa Imperator.
Oh, okay. I didn't get the
That
memo.
that just happened like last year. I don't care too much. I'm like, we all know, but that happened like
Uh,
sometime last year.
so
So
I've
this is my
seen I've
big
seen
boy
that
right
on
here.
social media. I've seen that on social media where people have been posting that. That is a big boy. Hold on a second.
So
Let's see him in his grandeur.
yeah. So he's a 7 year old. He's about 6.5, 7 foot common boa, and that is big for a male for this species. Most males usually most males usually don't see anything bigger than 5 to 6 foot. And he's pretty girthy boy. So I questioned it as well when I got him. I actually took him to the vet, had him checked. He got him opinions. He got some big ones. He would
That's
probably
a
make a female snake
so
happy
that
one day.
that's a big male boa. Like
Yeah.
I honestly, just based on appearance,
Hmm.
would think it was a female.
Yep. And
Although you
then
should have it sexed, just based on its appearance. Now, what are you feeding this things? Pigs?
now he gets colossal rats every 3 to 4 weeks,
And that's doing the job.
doing the job.
And he's really thick. So how much do you think he weighs right now?
Sorry, I'm having some technical difficulties.
It's all right.
When
I
I
missed that. That would have been a good blooper.
right when I took him to the vet, he was 26 pounds.
All right. So my female is 9 feet long. She's 14 years old. She's
Hmm.
14 years old, 9 feet long. She is not that thick. She weighs
Yeah,
about 20 pounds.
he's
Okay.
26
That is a thick
pounds.
boy, man.
Yeah, trust me. Like I literally was like, "There's no way this is a male." But when I took him in and they probed him, those hemipines came right out. I was like, "Oh, all right." I felt a little offended. Like, don't flash me those, man. But
And are you feeding him frozen as well? You said
he
all
eats
eat
frozen as
frozen?
well. Yep, he came to me eating frozen, so he eats frozen as well, and he does
Okay. Hey,
he does
Peter,
great
what's
on it.
up? Right now, Dre is not currently breeding. He's keeping, and he has a vast array of different species. So that's what we're going through right now, are his different species.
As
So
you
the
can see,
common
he's
boa,
busy.
guys, is what we refer to as the BCI, or what
Hmm.
is now being called the BI. But
Hmm.
this is a beautiful example of a common boa, which is often referred to as a Colombian red-tailed boa. But
And
this
then
is what
going
we
back
are.
to the saddles, common boas, they don't have those high peaks. They have like kind of like Batman banners, I like to call them.
It's the
Looks like kind of
Batman.
like a
Yep,
Batman symbol. Yeah, it's more
yep, yep.
flat. And then their color, red tail boas are usually like a gray. These guys are more of a tan. And then this is it. And then obviously the most common reason, if you ever seen a true red tail, their tails are more of like a brown. So that's common
Right.
boa.
My Peruvian's tail is like it's beautiful, and it's something that it's simple. They all have very similar patterns, but when you start noticing the little
Yeah.
minute differences, it stands out. And just like you said, he's gray. His tail is like a bright maroon, like it just
Hmm.
pops at you, you know.
Yeah.
Um, and that's my girl. My girl is a big, muddy looking common. I got her in a freaking mall, uh, 14 years ago, and that's my baby right there. But man,
Yeah,
that
this
boy
is
is thick because she is not
this is
that
my
thick.
workout. This is my workout. And but nonetheless though, they are still beautiful snakes, and for them, they're still to be honestly cheap snakes. I was on Morph Market, and I've seen them as cheap as $150. My pure red tail costs like $800. So it's like a big difference, but it's to me, you can't beat a healthy, beautiful common. But also when my red tail gets bigger, I can't wait for that.
So, guys, just so we're clear, it is an inexpensive snake to purchase, but you will be spending some money on food. And as you can see, it takes up some real estate. Okay.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
that's already Dre's used to it, but that's already almost a two-person snake right there.
And look, I don't know if people can tell on camera. I'm a small dude. I'm 5'5". I am 5'5". This snake is huge for me. But it's really all about again reading your snake and being comfortable and knowing how to handle them. That's why when I get my snakes small, I really try to habituate them to me because like my berm, 10 foot plus, you bite me, bro. We might have to duke it out. Like,
So, quick question.
uh-huh.
I just want to make sure I'm right. Morphed Ambitions is asking how old. You said 6,
Seven.
7 years
He's
old.
seven.
So
He's
7
7.
years old, already 6 feet, 26 pounds. Let's see. GP Snakes also has a female like mine
Yep.
that is 9 feet, and it's the same thing. My girl's 9 feet, about 20 pounds, and she's 14. So yeah, that's a big boy at 7 years old, and because
And
generally in the boa world, the fem at least the BCI, the female is much larger than the male.
yeah, and I take him out. So for even as big as he is, you can see how active he is. So I try to take him out, and I just kind of let him do his thing, get some exercise in. I am really not for overweight snakes, so I really try to watch it. But I mean,
So how long? I call it stretching their legs. I let my girl out. I have to do it when my wife's not home. She actually would kill me. Uh,
right?
so I have to do it when I know she's going to be away for a few hours. It is a workout. She doesn't always want to get back in her cage. So what is your routine as far as letting it get exercise? Because it doesn't look fat. It looks thick,
It's a
but
lot of
it doesn't
muscle.
look fat.
Like it's muscle. But for the most part, what I like to do is I find some steps, just kind of let him go up the step, let him do his thing, climb on them, like any type of like rail. What's constrictors? What's going on, man? Anything that he can climb that can support him, I just let him explore it. And boas, even at this size, are going to be naturally semi-arboreal, so I still kind of let him do his
So that's
thing.
why I got to do it when my wife's not home because she goes up. He doesn't have it now, but she used to climb my son's bunk bed,
Yep.
and my wife wouldn't be cool with that. She doesn't watch my shows, so I don't have to worry about anything.
He likes to. I'll put him in the shower, and he likes to climb up to the top and hang out on top of the shower pole.
So I have a photo of her where same exact thing. Went in the shower,
Yep.
kind of used the faucets as a base, and just go straight up the wall. And she'll just ride the wall and then get up to
Yep.
the shower curtains. And then if the doors are open, you'll walk in through a door, and she'll just be hanging out on top of the door. She's not hungry, thankfully, because otherwise she'd be in a perfect position to strike.
If yeah, I don't know, a snake above you striking at you, that's something I don't want to deal with at all, especially not one of his size.
No, but let me tell you, he is beautiful.
Appreciate it. Now I know you've probably seen this on my channel, or you may have not, but I'll pull them out. And I don't know how many people are familiar with these guys, but this is my scaleless Texas rat snake. This is Cubert. All right. Well, hyper, aren't you? So not only do I have boas and pythons, I have two colubrids out of the 12 snakes. Two are colubrids, but this is my scaleless Texas rat. And he's pretty long too. He's about 5'4", maybe 5 foot now. I got him as like a hatchling, and he's just been growing. I've only had him 2 years, and he's grown pretty fast. Grown very fast. To be honest, out of all of my snakes, well, the white lip, he's probably got the worst attitude, but it is what it is. I handle all of my snakes, attitude or not.
So you're saying that the rat snake has the worst attitude?
Out of all of my snakes, next to the white lip python, most definitely.
Wow, I
Most
thought that they were
definitely.
more of a docile snake, kind of like a corn snake.
But again, I think it's just this particular specimen because that's why the guy I got him from wanted to get rid of him. He literally gave him to me for like $50. These guys, I've seen these guys go for like $300.
Well,
He's like
maybe
$50
because it's
each one.
upset that it's a snake without scales.
And it's funny because they call them scaleless snakes, and these guys aren't 100% scaleless. They actually have scales down their back. If you look
Hold
at
on,
these,
let me go ahead.
Mhm. So they're not 100% scaleless. They have their dorsal scales, these little ridges right here, and they still
Okay.
have all of their ventral scales on their belly. So it's just that they have less scales than most snakes. They call them scaleless. But if you've never felt a scaleless snake, it is probably the weirdest thing to ever feel. But
Yes.
it's super soft. Do I get musked all the time? Yes, but not by him. He does not musk much. It's going to be that's my white lip or my king snake. Those two will musk all day. But him, he
I'm with
actually
Mac
acts
on
more
this
like a
one, bro.
python.
Look, I think you're gonna have to set up some sort of academy or something, and let us send you some of our difficult eaters because it looks like you got no trouble eaters over there. These things are all nice and chunky.
Yeah, I've had some come to me with eating issues, But I have my ways and my processes to get that worked out. But also, I take my snakes to the vet regularly, so if there is a problem, I can get them on the right medications or whatever, and we can go from there. But I really try to. I tell people 20% of keeping reptiles is actually paying attention to the animal, but that other 80% is making sure your parameters and having the correct setup that's what the other 80% is. So I feel
Husbandry,
like it's
husbandry, husbandry.
definitely as long as you have the right
So,
setup and your
guys, just
husbandry
so
is
we're
good.
clear, he has his ways, he has his processes, and for 1999, you can find out. Okay.
Right, 1995, three easy payments. But yeah, this is him. He's you guys think he's big, man. And my boa, you guys just wait till I pull the blood python out. But I want to pull him out because I don't show him off a lot. A lot of people forget I have him, and he's just one of those cool odd snakes that you don't see a lot of. So I definitely had to pull him out. So
Yeah,
I'll put
he's
him back.
definitely. I'm not familiar. I
Yeah,
mean, I did have a corn snake. I don't have too. I didn't have too much experience with colubrids. But that thing looks funky to me. It looks pinkish almost. Does it have a pinkish
yeah,
hue?
definitely. Some of them are like orangish. I don't know if you follow Bryan. He has one Joker, I think. His is more like an orangish and a blue. And then the cool thing about these guys is a lot of people actually, of course, they don't like them because that it's a morph or whatever. And a lot of people don't realize that this is not a man-made morph. This is actually a natural occurrence in the wild. The first scaleless snake was found in the wild. It was actually a corn snake. Was found in the wild in the early 1900s. So I feel like people should probably do a lot more research before they speak on stuff like that. But
Kind of
yeah,
like the spider gene, people. Kind of like the spider gene. Okay.
so I just wanted to throw that out there because I've had
For all you
received some
spider
backlash.
haters, natural, al natural, Mother Nature came out the wild. And actually, Brian had a piece of that too. I know.
Mm-hmm.
I know Kevin gets all the credit, but
Kevin
Brian had a
McCullough.
little piece of that action, and so did Jesse's father from Freedom Breeder.
Okay, yeah, I like to tell people that because they'll argue with me all the time, and then I'm just like, have you researched it? And then you go
No,
research it, and it's like, oh, I didn't know that. Probably should research it before you speak on it.
yeah. And now
But I
that it's
mean,
easier than ever, guys, I keep telling you, you don't know what it is to have three encyclopedias on the wall and have to go there and get it updated all the time, and then go to the library. The internet is awesome sometimes.
yeah, and me having all of my snakes are different species, so I have to be up and know what I'm doing and everything like that. Now, I'm not saying I'm perfect, and information changes, but I know enough to keep my animals alive and healthy, everything like that. So,
So
but
Dre, let me ask you. You
yes,
have
sir.
different species. They require different temperatures. What are you doing? Do you have separate? I see you have various setups. Do you have different a thermostat, an individual thermostat for each tank, or how's that working?
So the rack all runs on the thermostat, but everyone else is in their individual enclosures, and they all have their each in their own individual heat monitor as well. But I go through with just to kind of double down on that with my handy dandy temp gun, just to kind of make sure all of my temps are staying where they're supposed to. As you can see, I'm in an unfinished basement, but the windows are sealed, so it stays pretty warm down here, even with the lights off. So it's great. Naturally it stays. I want to say so with the lights off at night, it goes down to like 76, which is perfect. And then with all the lights on, the temperature down here goes up to like 80, but not too hot. Now I have two snakes that are not down here, but that's because they're a little more sensitive to the temperature. Those are my two arboreal snakes, my green tree python and my emerald tree boa. They are upstairs, and it's a little cooler up there, so it doesn't get too hot. So that's perfect for them, and they stay up there. My big boys and my hardier guys are down here, and it works out perfectly. But I really just try to do everything the best I can, but not on like when I set it up, I don't just set up and leave it. I'm doing, I check all of my temps right around weekly. I record everything to see like, was there a fluctuation because that may have had an impact on why this snake didn't poop or why this snake didn't eat or anything like that. So I really try to be in tune with my animals. That way, if something is going to happen or I can prevent something else from happening. So for sure.
So let me ask you a question. Well, first of all, I want to say thank you because I have to admit it was the Falco reptiles that gave me like a love for green tree pythons for the GTP. I don't have one. I'm not ready. I'm transitioning left and right. So before I take that on, I just have to be in a different place. But that
Mhm.
is on my wish list. But I have to give you the credit and thank you for putting me on to the Emerald Tree Python. Um, and you made me research that. Can you talk a little bit? I mean, they look so similar. Can you talk a little bit about their differences, even though they're not in the room?
So like I always start off with the main differences. The one's a python, one's a boa. But Venus is my green tree python. He is probably one of the nicest green tree pythons you'll ever see. I handle him from time to time. I know on the internet you'll read that you're not supposed to handle them due to their very fragile nature. They are arboreal, so they stay in trees like 99% of the time, and they have a very fragile tail. But my green tree python is like 3 years old now, and there are always ways around that. I never pull him off. He actually climbs onto my hand. But a lot of the big differences for them are going to be, it's really going to be the markings. Most of the time, green tree pythons are not going to have stripes. And they come in so many variety of morphs and everything now. Um, and I feel like their green is more like a lime green. And I never really noticed that until I saw my green tree python and my emerald tree boa side by side. Emerald tree boa, they have the largest teeth of non-venomous snakes. Mine is not nice at all. But I mean, can't have every snake be nice.
But aren't,
They
aren't
also,
GTPs a little nasty too? Can't they be a little
for
nasty too?
sure. But I've taken a bite from my green tree python, and it eh. You know what I mean? It's just once you've been around so many snakes and you've been bitten so many times, it's nothing to worry about. And no matter what, now I'm not saying I want to go out and like my Cayman when he gets full grown, I don't want to take a bite from him at all. But there's a lot of big differences as far as the physical outlook and everything. Emerald tree boas literally have huge heads. Their heads are huge, and then also their scientific name is Corallus caninus. Caninus meaning canine for those
Okay,
teeth.
because of the teeth.
Exactly.
Now, do you like one more than the other, and why?
I don't know. I got both of them because they were both on my dream list, and they both make great display snakes. I will say, me, I like handling my reptiles and interacting with them. So I guess for that reason, I would choose Venus over Venom because Venus is a little more social and Venom isn't. And that's fine. I respect Venom for what he is. I don't have to take out my snakes. And again, I don't take Venus out that often. The last time I took Venus out was like 3 months ago. I only really take him out when I'm doing a full cage cleaning. And again, I take him out by his perch. He climbs onto my hand. If he wants to hang on my hand, I let him. And I mean, that's it. I've held my Emerald Tree Boa one time. I
Excuse
was
me.
doing a full case cleaning. Bless you. I was doing a full cage cleaning, and he climbed onto my hand. But as soon as he realized it was my hand, he went in defense mode and was just trying to get me. But it
He
happens. I
felt he
mean,
felt the warmth.
exactly. But it happens. I mean, what are you gonna do? And I think when people realize their snake is gonna bite, the worst thing that they do is freak out. You already have the snake. What are you free? You can control if he bites you or not. There's no reason to freak out because, especially with our boreal snakes, they can sense when you're nervous. So if you start acting all fidgety, they're not gonna want to be on you. So yes, they're gonna be defensive. So you gotta just keep your composure.
Yeah, and I'm gonna be honest with you. I don't like getting bit by anything. To tell you the truth, I don't even like mosquito bites, man. So So I guys, if you're watching this and you're not already subscribed, please make sure you hit that subscribe button. And a matter of fact, get all your friends to come and subscribe to my channel, to Dre's channel. We have a I have a great 1,000 subscriber giveaway that already has minimum 8 snakes that we will be giving away once we hit 1,000 subscribers. So let's get to 1,000, guys. All right. You guys show me so much love on Instagram. Let's bring that love over to YouTube. Make sure you hit the like button, crash the subscribe button. But I am looking forward. He's talking about being bitten. One of the nastiest bites out there is a blood python. But this is beautiful. I've been looking forward to seeing this. As a matter of fact, I don't know if you saw Underworld Exotics. He was like,
Mhm.
bring out the white lip.
Yeah. So I feel like I had to bring them out right now because we're talking about being bit. This is the snake that bites me regularly. This snake bites me regularly, but as you can see, I mean, I just roll with the punches. It is what it is. This snake was on my wish list for like 3 years, and I don't know if you guys saw the story, but this snake actually came to me like half dead, and I took him to the vet, and I literally nursed him back to health. I mean, if I could show you guys the pictures of the state he was in when I got him, I would. And as you can see, I mean, He's colored up. He's really pretty. He's eating for me regularly. This is Loki, and he from my Marvel fans out there, if any are watching, his name is Loki is because you guys know Loki cannot be trusted. He will betray you in a second, and that is this guy. I can be holding him, and literally in 2 seconds he'll just turn around and bite me, and it is what it is. So I really try to get names that match all of my snakes, and I feel like I hit this one spot on with this one. But he will be pretty big too. I don't. This one I actually don't know if it's male or female, so I'm actually growing him out so I can have him sexed. But these guys actually get pretty big, so I cannot wait for him to get bigger. Same family as olive pythons. Can't wait for him to get bigger and put him on display.
Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, Slater. That'll be another one. We got to get you up to your 2,000 mark that you've been trying to do. Let me ask you a question. Are these incandescent? Is there like an incandescence thing going on there?
Just like rainbow boas. Yep.
Okay,
So I'm actually
let me give you the full screen here.
yeah. So as you can see, why I call them white lips. They got that white little face. If you turn around, I was probably not picking it up as well, but they got kind of like an iridescence. It's way prettier in person. But they have like a shimmer, a really nice shimmer, and they are just beautiful. And this is a northern white lip python. They have a subspecies which is southern white lip python, and I really want to get one. But as of now, those guys are like damn near impossible to get, and they're going for like 2,800 online right now. I'm just not willing to drop that type of money. I'm not willing to drop that type of money. But although he came to me in a crappy condition, I'm glad that I had the knowledge and skill level to be able to get him to the vet and nurse him back to health. And I've had him for over a year now. He's doing great,
Well,
and
he
I just
looks
can't
like he's
wait.
doing great.
Yeah,
It
he's
looks like you
doing he's
just had to
doing
get into the
good.
right hands. You got it at the right time. I do agree with Pete over here that we don't have many people. I mean, you get especially with that's why when you told me you only had one ball python, I was like, how's that I mean, they're just so addicting.
Mhm.
And you can throw so many of them in a rack, and they take up such little space opposed to all these tanks and cages. But it's good. It's good to see someone that has a nice collection, and not
For
only
sure.
that, they're thriving. See, my concern when people have large collections or a large variety, they're not giving the individual species its due, let's say, and it's difficult. It's time
Hmm.
consuming. And yours all seem to be in great health. They definitely all seem to be eating.
Oh,
Um,
listen, I've done plenty of feeding videos. My thing is, with me, I have a schedule. I have a schedule for my social media. I have a schedule for my care days. I have a schedule for when I just come over and just do research or whatever. But I have to make sure that all of my because if you think about it, no matter what you're doing with reptiles, if they're just pets, you're breeding, education, whatever, they're still an investment. You want them to survive. So why put the money into them and then get cheap when it's time to care for them? It doesn't make sense. It's just throwing money
right.
away. Um,
And time is part of the investment, so
Most
that's one of the
definitely,
things you
most
need to
definitely.
know ahead of time. So Wiz Khan asked a good question. I think they're funky. Maybe during retirement, I like the fact that they eat other snakes. But what is your take on the indigos?
I like indigos and cribos actually. A lot of I posted a question last week and I did a Q&A on YouTube. A lot of people really feel like an indigo snake will be great for me to get, and I don't know enough about them for me to get one right now. So I've been doing some research on them and everything. I do definitely like them, but I have two colubrids that I want to get before I get an indigo, and it won't be anytime soon. But false water cobra and mangrove snake, those are two snakes that I have to get. Two snakes that I have to get.
Guys, the collection keeps growing, so I don't know if you'll have time to breed. I don't know if you'll have time to breed as you keep adding to the family.
And see, that's the thing. I want to get to the point where I'm doing this full time and not have to work for anybody else. So that's where that's coming from. But oh yeah, I'll make time.
No, well, it seems as if you're not competing. I mean, when we talk about the ball python world, everyone is very competitive and competing for the same people and trying to get the same dollars. It's good to see someone doing something different.
And so another cool thing about having, because a lot of the reptile friends that I have are ball python breeders. GP snakes being one of them, Wisconsin constrictors being one of them. Another cool thing is all of my friends all have a specific project they're working on. So everybody's into something different. This person may be doing Inchi. This person may be doing Highway. This person may be focusing on Dreamsicle or whatever it is. I think that's dope, and it just gives everybody something else to do. But again, I may not be the biggest ball python fan, but I support everybody. I support everybody because at the end of the day, I wanted to. What prompted me to get more into education is my first reptile was an iguana. I knew nothing about it. I went to the pet store. There was $20. I got one, and I brought it home just because I could. That
I
iguana beat
think
the shit out of me.
so. I'm gonna show you something right here.
Mm-hmm.
Look at my ear, and my iguana tried to eat it.
Yeah.
It actually, I didn't even realize they had that power, and I got people think I had an earring ripped out. No, those two lines on my ear is the shape of the iguana's mouth.
People think
And that
because they're
was about
vegetarians that
20 something. That's what I was thinking. They eat
people.
lettuce, and this thing took a chunk out my ear. I mean, my thing was flapping and bleeding, and
So this tattoo of my caiman that I have, the scar is under that. So I have a scar from my iguana that I had. It's from like here to here, but it's all covered up now. This is actually I have a caiman at home. For those of you that don't know, this is actually my caiman. He's a little guy, but I got his face like magnified. I had him tattooed on me, so go check him out. He's on YouTube and Instagram as well. But yeah, those iguanas is no joke. And
I've
then
seen
this
the
guy that I have,
caiman. I've seen the caiman. That just looks like so much work, though.
oh no, they're fun.
I,
To,
I
to be
got you.
honest, my most high maintenance reptile right now is my tegu.
Okay.
My tegu, Nipsey. He is a powder blue, and he is the most high maintenance reptile. I don't post any pictures of him because he is not tame at all. I'm still working with him. He's worse than my
You know,
caiman.
DMG Reptiles is here, and he just got two tegus, and he's been. We spoke earlier today, and he's been posting pictures of one. So he calls me, and I'm like, "Oh, I see you got your tego fever going there." I was like, "I thought you had two." He's like, "Yeah, the other one's not nice."
That's how it goes. But I got mine, and he was going through sexual maturity. So when they go through that, it's really bad, and he's a male, so it's really bad. But it's one of those things where I'm just like, I'm just gonna have to deal with it because, again, once you know so much about animals, just deal with it. I mean, that's just how it works.
All right, so I'm not familiar with the Coach Whip. Have you checked out a Coach Whip?
I've seen them. They're interesting. I just feel like there's certain features or things I look for in snakes that make me want to get them. A lot of people think I want every snake in the world, and that is not the case. I like all snakes, but I don't need to have every single snake. But there are certain ones where I'm just like, ooh, that's nice. I would love that. And then I do research on it for about a year to see if it's the right fit for me and to
Right.
see, what I can do with it or if I have space for it because you just never know what can happen.
Also, Slater said that he had an iguana that was vicious, beat you with the tail. So just for the record, at the time that I had Freddie was the iguana. He was a good 3 feet long, maybe 4 plus tail, big boy, the one that took the chunk out my ear over here. I
Mhm.
had 2 Rottweilers and a pit bull, and he kept everybody in check. He walked around freely. He had a setup. Those dogs didn't even think about it. When he whipped, you felt it, and he would whip. And after 1 or 2 times, the dogs wanted nothing to do with him.
Iguanas don't fear shit. They don't care. But
So,
this
WizCon, that sounds like me, brother. I'm real cool until I'm not, man.
exactly. Now this is my Motley boa. This is Bane. So this is the boa a lot of people go crazy for on Instagram just because of his tail pattern.
That tail.
And he's as you can see, boas and pythons, how big my berm is and how he's a year old and he's like 4.5, 5 foot. This is a 3-year-old male boa. He's a bi. He's just a morph. He's 3 years old. And Zeus, my berm, is bigger than he is. Boas usually, I mean, no snake should be power fed or overfed for that matter, but these guys grow really, really slow. If you overfeed them, they may get big, but you're going to have some underlying issues to deal with in the future. So, as you guys know, because I know we talked about everybody, over here is beefy. They feed good. I'll make sure they feed good, but I don't want to overfeed them. And as you can see, he's got that same thickness, but he doesn't have a dramatic lump where the meal was like huge or anything like that. He just got the same consistency all the way through.
I sent 212 Exotics a Motley het albino
My
that he's
guy,
gonna
my guy.
he's gonna have a project going on. So
Mm-hmm.
Motley's guys are kind of like the Spider Gene in the sense you don't pair them to each other.
Man, Motley is deadly.
Yeah, we don't do Motley to Motley. Just for the record, he has I believe it was a hypo het albino, and that will be the pairing that he has going on over there.
And as you can see how friendly he is. I'm surprised I haven't been bit yet, even though White Lip was being good. But he's always friendly. I never have an issue with him.
I got control. I got control over these animals.
So
I got you, bro. I got you.
This is probably one of my favorite snakes to take out here. He was the third snake that I got. But I mean they're just beautiful, placid.
Chill.
I would love another Motley, but it has to be an IMG Motley. IMG boas, man. Those are some beautiful snakes.
And you know what? I did not send him a Motley. I sent him a hypo. He got a Motley. So I have to take that back. I was just thinking about it. I'm like, I didn't send him a Motley. We still have Motleys available, but I didn't send him a Motley. I sent him a hypo het albino for his Motley het albino. There you go. So Mac is saying jungle to jungle could also be deadly. So, I mean, obviously, guys, if you were to consider breeding, you should do a lot of research before getting into it. It's one of the things that frustrates me in the ball python world is people get the bug and right away they want to breed, and then you see them talking about breeding their spider to their champagne and all these other combinations that really won't turn out well.
So since someone brought up jungle, I guess I gotta bring this girl out next.
Oh, he got a hook. He got a hook.
I use hooks with all my snakes. I'm consistent with it. She might have an attitude because she's in shed.
He got a hook, guys.
This is my.
She is bad.
Python. Yeah, this is Khalifa. Black and yellow.
Black and yellow, black and yellow, black and yellow.
So funny story with her. I got her for free. I just took in Luther. Luther was in a 40 breeder, and that's way too small for a 6-foot snake. So I found this guy on Craigslist. He was selling a Luther's in a 5x2x2 right now, and he was selling an enclosure. I get there to pick up the enclosure, and I look down, and there's a snake in it. And I'm like, "Oh, I don't want the snake. I just want the enclosure." He was like, "Well, if you take the enclosure, the snake is free. It's yours." And I looked down and saw what type of snake it was, and it was her. She is a jungle carpet python. She was about 2 foot at the time. This was about 2 years ago, and as you can see, she's just like the rest of my snakes. She's a big girl. She eats really. She's probably one of the most vicious eaters. With them being, native to Australia and New Guinea, I do put a little bit of. She gets some bird in her diet. She gets some quail, some chicken. All of my snakes get it, but she gets it probably a little more. And it's been serving her well.
She eats better than I do.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah, it's been serving her well. She don't care. Guinea pig, poultry, rat, she's eating it. This if she was meant to be a heavy body snake, she would be my garbage disposal, but I literally have to watch her because she just likes to eat. She's a fat girl at heart.
She'll eat whatever you put in there. Okay.
Her feeding response next to Zeus is nuts. Like, those are the two snakes that I don't want to be near when I have to feed them because they're flying out of enclosures. And look, she's a shed and she's still this friendly, but she's a big girl. So she came to me. I thought she was a male. Up until like last year.
I just have to recognize it. This warms my heart seeing this Jar Pythons. Hi, Lynette. You guys warm my heart.
So I got to meet them in Chicago and Schaumburg. That was great.
Who?
Jar Pythons.
Oh, yeah. Jim and Angie. I love them. I love them.
I was kind of sad because they thought I was another YouTuber, but I wasn't. So we took a picture together. And then they were like,
did they confuse you with Brian Barczyk? They thought you were Brian Barczyk?
Yeah, it's got a nice little tan, but
they thought you were Brian Barczyk, right?
Yeah, but they follow me on Instagram and everything. Real cool people. It's nice to meet them. But yeah,
all right, so we're
talking
approaching
jungle.
the 1 hour mark, and this is usually where we start saying goodbye. So before we say goodbye, can we see that nasty blood python?
Oh, for sure, for sure. Let me get
Can
her
can
back.
can we see that? Because see, you did things backwards. You have to work your way to blood python. You don't start out with a blood python, man.
Hey, like I tell people, I don't bite off more than you can chew. I just, I'm
That's
just
a big
somebody.
bite though, right there.
He, he's never gotten me, so I don't be mad. But again, watch and see how he's just as friendly as all the rest of the snakes I pulled out. Me and him are like besties.
Yeah, they have a nasty bite, man.
Most snakes do.
Nah, that's a whole different level. That's like a
Listen,
little.
listen. I've seen some pretty nasty like ball python bites. Like, I mean, they were full grown, but still, a blood python is nothing but a ball python with a little more attitude. That's
And a
over.
lot more power, man. That thing is a freaking fullback. If we were playing football, that's a fullback right there.
It's funny because yeah, Kato is a big boy. The only time he really gives me attitude is like right now when I'm getting him out of his enclosure. Other than that, he's
He was like, I was chilling, and here you are, all poking at me.
right. Now, people are probably gonna think he's overfed, but if you know anything about blood pythons, they are fat ass snakes.
Yes.
So, this is my big boy. This is Kato, my blood python. He's a matrix. He's about 3 years old, or no, he's coming up on 4 this month actually. So, how many people you know put their blood python, hang him out? I trust him. He's cool, super friendly.
Okay, so I just want to highlight that right there. If you notice when he put him on his shoulder, when Dre put him on his shoulders, you saw the ridge on his back. That is what your blood python should look like. Although they are fat, meaty snakes there.
Still gotta have that pronounced spine there.
Exactly. Where in the ball python world, we would think our snake is
Malnourished,
underweight. That's exactly what a blood python should look like.
beefy.
Beefy
That
with
is a
that
beefy,
ridge.
beefy. But you know, let me show you something. If he cooperates,
Tame,
I
huh?
can pet under his chin. Yeah, he's chill. The only time he really gets crazy is feeding time and when I'm taking him out of his enclosure. But other than that, I mean, this is my guy. First snake I ever brought home. And now I'm not saying when he was smaller, he wasn't. I'm not saying he wasn't mean. Buddy definitely had an attitude, but just consistent time working with him and making sure that he gets used to me and everything. This is him,
You named him Kano?
Kato.
Oh,
Kato.
Kato, like,
He's named after Kato June, one of my favorite legendary football players.
oh, I thought you named him after Bruce Lee.
Nah. Yep, Kato June. But yeah, that's him. Look at that. Super friendly.
I
Me
think they're
too.
beautiful. I think
Definitely.
that they are absolutely beautiful. That is something that we definitely. I don't know if I'm gonna jump to a blood python or if I'll do the short tail,
Sumatran short tail.
yeah, the Sumatran short tails first. I heard that they're a little bit easier than the blood
Get it.
python.
There's the Sumatra short tails and there's also the black-headed. I know Rashad at 212 Exotics. His is pretty nasty. He was like,
Oh,
bro,
I gotta check
I'm
out.
gonna
I
send
gotta
it
check
to
it out. I
you.
didn't even know Rashad had one.
Yeah, he's got a little one. He looks just like mine. I told him, I was like, go ahead and send him to me, man. I'll send him back. He'd be good to go.
Yeah, he'll be nice and chunky too, I'm sure.
Oh yeah, he's on. He's not on colossal, but he eats large. He eats large rats every
And
two to
how
three weeks,
often?
2 to 4 weeks, 2 to 4 weeks. I'm sorry,
Okay.
every 2 to 4. It kind of depends on how big the rat is. I like to weigh the rats just to make sure they got the same consistency. I mean, I don't trust many snakes, especially typically most people don't allow blood pythons to be on their shoulders. I have no issues with it, and I mean, he is very friendly. Uh, I have no complaints.
Yeah,
He's never even
Juggernaut. You ever hook up with Juggernaut?
Juggernaut
Repti-
Reptiles.
yeah, Juggernaut Reptiles. He does nice work with the Bloods, and his things are huge.
I think I've spoken to him a couple times on Instagram. But I think
Yeah,
that's about it.
he has a Paradox ball python that's
Hmm.
absolutely amazing. It's a show snake. He won't sell it. I said, so right now, $20,000, you won't sell it. He's like, nope. I was like,
I
that's a
don't blame
beautiful
him.
snake.
I've had people do the same thing with my green tree pythons. My green tree python is a designer morph. He's high yellow Biak and Maroc, and he's got black designer morph in there. And he wasn't super cheap, but he wasn't super expensive. But I've had people that are like $10,000. I'm just like, there's certain things that you just can't put a price on. So just like, I don't care if you offer me $1 million. I would think about it.
I don't
But
know about
the
that
fact
one,
that I
Dre.
have,
Come on, Dre.
but
I don't
if
know
you
about
have an
that one.
attachment, you got an attachment to it. It's like somebody offering me money for my kid. Like, there's certain
You
things
know,
like
listen, $1 million. We could talk about my kid too. I'm kidding. My wife heard that. Oh my gosh,
right.
I get in a lot of trouble. Well,
Oh
brother,
yeah.
man, we are up on the hour mark. Is there anything
All
that you
right,
want to
man.
show us or talk about before we get out of here?
I showed you guys. I showed you guys all the secrets, man.
All
All the
right, so
secrets.
next time we got to see some of the four-legged creatures
Oh,
with tails,
definitely.
and we got to see those green babies of yours, man.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I got a venomous lizard too, so I'll definitely show that off for you.
All right, so we definitely got to do this again. Listen, I honestly believe the greatest gift you could give anyone is the gift of time, and I appreciate you and thank you for gifting me
Mhm.
your time, and everyone that joined us. Thank you all for joining us and making this a great show.
Appreciate you for having me,
Until
man.
we meet again, remember, guys, you can follow Dre at DW Exotics. It's right there. Look, bam, there you go. I will put it in the video description. If you're not following him on Instagram, make sure you do it and go give him a subscription on YouTube. He's very consistent with the videos, and if you think this was educational, he's putting out a lot of great content, and he's also very receptive and responds as well. So we have a great person out there in the community. I also have to give a shout out to my boy Bryan at Bane of My Exotics for the fly shirt. Makes me look less fat than I really am. Good job on the selection there. And brother man, until we meet again, we definitely will link up again.
For sure,
Enjoy
man.
the rest of your night and keep up the great work. You are killing it.
Appreciate it. You too, bro.